So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yishel and I'm the founder of Dot. I have almost a decade worth experience in business development, as well as working with healthcare organizations, specifically children with mental disabilities. And there's a global problem of different mental disorders being grouped together and diagnosed using questionnaires and subjective behavior. It's just not that accurate. To address this issue, my team and I at DOT have developed a wearable headset that reads brainwave activity and provides diagnosis and therapy for different mental health conditions. We're on a mission to help 1 billion young individuals facing mental health issues, starting with the condition of attention deficiency hyperactive disorder. So let's take a look at some stats. Depression affects 5% of the population worldwide. Autism 8, ADHD affects 15% of the population worldwide, and this has been further exacerbated by the pandemic and post-pandemic use of social media as well. Today, there are close to 1 billion individuals worldwide who are diagnosed with the condition of ADHD. And this creates an economic burden of $5 trillion. Here in Canada, we have a significant market opportunity. There are close to 8 million individuals, specifically children, who are diagnosed with mental health conditions, with roughly 1.2 of those individuals diagnosed with ADHD. Our targeted market, considering our pricing strategy, is therefore $1.4 billion. Our primary goal in the first few years is to reach 15,000 children, translating to a service obtainable market of 18 million. This implies a 1.5% market penetration into our market segment. And as we increase awareness, prove the efficacy of our solution, we anticipate significantly to increase this percentage. So let's step back and take a look at the current status quo, which is diagnostics in general, but diagnosing a condition such as ADHD. It's usually based on a questionnaire similar to the one that you see. It's subjective. Treatment is through trial and error of medications, some of which have horrific side effects. If you read through the list, you see anxiety, psychosis, seizures. And let's not forget, we're exposing kids who are underage to these medications to be able to treat themselves. Can you imagine the horror? The current system is error prone. Misdiagnosis is on the rise. Medications, as you just saw, have detrimental side effects, and it's inefficient. Our solution is efficient, accurate, and affordable. Our product combines both hardware and software, and using the headset, we read the individual's brainwave activity and run clinically established algorithms to form a diagnosis. Prior to launching, we had conducted preclinical research work at McGill University on over 1,000 individuals to develop our IP. And as of our alpha launch in 2019, we have completed 300 child development assessments using our headset with an accuracy to diagnose the condition of ADHD by 92%. Our headset has gone through several iterations, and as we continue to evolve the latest technology, we evolve our headset as well with the latest technology that's out there in the market, such as enhanced sensors, smart sensors, etc. Our product can serve two customer segments. Neuron is our clinician-facing portal, and Nerve is our direct-to-consumer product. Our platform, Neuron, is a B2B platform which empowers mental health caregivers through automation of diagnosis, therapy, and management of their patients. We're providing immense value for both healthcare systems as well as patients. So if I go through the list and look at the ones that stand out, our headset essentially can help increase patient throughput at healthcare facilities. So psychologists and psychiatrists, as well as doctors, can have our headset sitting in their office and they can put it on multiple patients to get diagnosed rather than waiting years on end before receiving a diagnosis. We can help reduce wait times to see specialists using this technology. The overall goal is to lessen the burden on the healthcare system. DOT has been built by a team of experienced neuroscientists, medical researchers, and developers. I'm an electrical engineer from McGill University, and my partner, Dr. Rashida Chaudhary, is a PhD neuroscientist. We have doctors and neuroscientists on board both locally and in the international market. We have also strategically aligned ourselves with advisors with expertise in regulatory, healthcare network, as well as business development expertise. Our recent addition to the board is Dr. Albert Chu, who is a pediatric neurosurgeon at the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario, and he's helping us pilot our validation study with you. So our commercialization strategy, we focus on two critical stages. First is the limited market release, followed by the full commercial launch. We're currently in the limited market release phase, transitioning our product from prototype stage to exposure in the real world. Over the past few years, we've been laying down foundational groundwork for this, engaging with key opinion leaders, undergoing preclinical studies, launching overseas even to collect data. Now, as we move into our LMR phase, we have engaged industry professionals and have identified pilot sites in Canada, like the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario. Our focus is on gaining real-world insight and refining our product and these findings to show that they provide value to healthcare systems. Looking ahead, our LMR strategy will evolve into a full commercial launch. It is here that our product will reach a broader audience backed by extensive marketing strategies, of course, and informed by our experiences during the LMR phase. So as a part of our LMR phase as well, our hospitals are our main distribution channel. We begin by identifying champions within these hospitals, someone who believes in our technology and its potential to revolutionize the ADHD diagnostic space. And these champions then help us navigate through the hospital's hierarchy, gaining buy-ins from department chairs. This whole cycle can take upwards of 8 months, but we're committed to being adaptable and persistent throughout the process because we believe that our product can bring about a paradigm shift in ADHD diagnosis. So here, this is a quick snapshot of the process we have employed for our collaboration with CHIO, which began in Q1 of 2023. It began with developing a research proposal which involved identifying principal investigators. Once the proposal is finalized, we submit an application with Health Canada for an investigational testing authorization, which can take up to 30 days. Then we move on to securing funding through government grants and programs such as BioProvide, an EHN network provider grant, which would help us fund the study itself. We develop additional headsets followed by the actual study, which will last 3 to 4 months. So this whole process, while it's time consuming, it will help us prove worth and our credibility as well as efficacy and efficiency of our product to the healthcare workers from within their systems rather than trying to sell a product to them as an outsider. In the regulatory framework, our product in the US category would fall under a class 2 510K exempt. So as long as we are not claiming the diagnosis directly and we're letting the clinician or the pediatrician make the diagnosis, we are 510K exempt. What that means is we can essentially go and register with the FDA right now. Our validation study with CHIO will provide crucial data points for our regulatory submission as well. So as you can see on our product roadmap, we've successfully completed phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 encompassed the foundational work where we focused on initial user testing, creating a diagnostic prototype. From there, we moved on to phase 2, where this was a period of real tangible progress and collection of real world data, which is where we're at right now. This phase also involved manufacturing additional headsets, adding gamification to our platform, and launching our platform overseas, and now in Canada with our limited market release with CHIO. We're also developing our IP strategy, which consists of both publishing and patenting our technology, for which we will require funds. As we move forward, we're looking towards phase 3, and this phase will focus on refining the headset, developing a comprehensive quality management system, which is a requirement with Health Canada, to obtaining regulatory approvals and safety certifications. And finally, in phase 4, we will be able to finalize our reimbursement, brand, and commercialization strategies and prepare for our full commercial launch. We're also looking for strategic advisors to help us with developing some of these strategies. Now, I just want to take a step back and mention that this venture was initiated back in 2017 and has primarily been funded through non-dilutive means, including grants, awards, personal investments, etc. While I am proud of the progress we've made so far, I recognize that we need additional investment to realize our plans for phase 3 and phase 4 and to be able to execute without delays and make tangible difference in the mental health space, which is much needed, especially today. Over the past several years, as I mentioned, we've won close to $500,000 through awards and grants, which has allowed us to stay afloat today. In terms of our pricing strategy, currently we've opted for a software as a service subscription model, priced at $500 monthly, and we will provide users with ongoing software updates, access to our AI algorithms, along with the .EEG headset. This strategy will involve bundling hardware with the subscription, and we're going to be testing this pricing during our limited market release. Our strategy also includes tiered pricing, allowing us to cater to different customer segments. The price points for our full market release and other customer segments have yet to be determined. I just want to note that it's worth noting that a conventional EEG diagnostic system comes at a much higher price point with a tag price of over $50,000. So we are pricing ourselves very conservatively. and our value proposition is clear: cutting-edge technology and service at a fractional of the cost. Our projections indicate that by the end of 2027, we will have considerable sales revenue that significantly outweighs our costs, suggesting a profitable and sustainable business model. Unfortunately, the most affordable and common solutions out there are the least effective. The status quo of diagnosing mental health conditions through multiple questionnaires is at the bottom of the list. We're tapping into an unserved market of providing an effective, low-cost solution. Today, we are seeking a pre-seed investment of $500K, and these funds will be earmarked to fully execute our limited market release and put us on a path towards a successful commercial launch. A portion of these funds will be used to patent our technology, which is critical in securing our competitive advantage and prior to publications. And a regulatory consultant will assist in developing a regulatory strategy, aligning it with our clinical data. And we ask you to join us on this next stage of expansion so that we can realize our dreams and take this product to the market. Zooming out a little bit, I do want to mention that our product Neuron for ADHD is just the tip of the iceberg. Neuron's abilities apply across all mental health conditions, which means we aim to become the pioneers of data-driven approach to mental health. My name is Yishel and I'm the founder of Mind Unlocked, and thank you for listening to me.
Super. Thanks you, Yishel. That was fantastic. Okay, we're going to jump right into our Q&A and feedback. Nolan, do you want to kick us off?
Can I go last?
Mathieu, would you like to kick us off?
Sure. Very interesting. Obviously, we all understand that there's a real need to help a lot of people out there. This touches a lot of people, that's for sure. So thank you for that. I'll start just very general. How many slides do you have in your presentation right now?
About 30.
Okay. How about yeah. So this is I think it's just too fast, too much information. It'd be great if you had an hour and we wanted to do a deep dive and really look at all the aspects. But most of the time when you pitch to investors, you have 20 minutes and you have to also learn how to do it in 10 and how to do it in 5, right? So I would cut that down to 15 slides at the most, 10 to 15 slides. And then you really have to think of what you need to keep and what you throw away. You can keep all of those as annex. So when you do have questions, you can bring those up. So this is I think this is going to have the most impact right now, as far as you really need to think that through and see where you can cut. So then you can also slow down, because that was a lot of information. I'm a technical person and I still had a lot of some issues, trying to capture all the information you were giving me. And some slides, I think there was lots of information and you stayed there for 10 seconds. So I couldn't see. But content is good. The other problem I have is I still didn't quite understand what you're solving, exactly what the product does. What's the real life impact of this product? Have you used it and maybe more of the results, but more from an easy way for people to understand, really what's the impact of this product? What does it do? I didn't quite get that. I'll leave, but overall, I think this is great. It just needs a little bit of work, but I'm sure the others have other comments. I can add more if need be at the end.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And then there are too many slides and too much information I do need to work on. I'm even scared to show you this next slide that I have after this. I think I'm glad I took this out already.
A lot of words.
Yes.
Kathy, do you want to jump in?
Sure. Great job, Yishel. And also a wonderful product that has the potential to have really substantial impact on the industry. I'm going to echo what Mathieu said. It was really fast. So yeah, making an effort to slow it down and really focus on the most critical parts for a 20-ish minute pitch is probably the better approach. Also, I don't know if this was just a me problem or if it was impacting everyone else on the call, but the charts were overlapping sometimes. So they weren't really readable for me. And I'm not sure if that was just my issue or a problem with Zoom or what.
I think I had the same issue.
I think it was a Zoom issue. If
Yeah,
like the
however, I
Yeah.
think it's because you have a transition in your slide. Do you have like a fade in, fade out type of thing?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
it wasn't fading all the way out.
yeah. Remove that because it is causing issues. So it's not really adding much. And if you want to don't have this problem in the future.
Thank you for that.
So also the clearly the team is great. Everybody who you named explicitly, and adding Dr. Xu from the Children's Hospital. Is that in Ottawa or Toronto? I missed that.
It's an Ottawa.
Is it the Ottawa, Tio?
Yes.
Yeah. So really awesome team. A few things that were unclear to me. So I know the headset is important. That was clear. But what the software was actually doing and why somebody would pay a monthly subscription fee for the software, that part wasn't really clear. And marketing to both clinics and doctors and the direct-to-consumer market added a little bit of confusion for me as well, in terms of, how are you, limited funds, you want to really focus on, one market solution at a time. And then it called into question, well, is it a double-sided market? Do you need the consumer to be purchasing and the clinic to be purchasing? So that added a little bit of confusion for me. And I don't remember, I thought about it after. So was there a competitive analysis chart?
It was, but it's very elementary, so I'll go back to it. But I can definitely perhaps spend a little bit more. I did go over it very quickly.
It was really fast. I remember seeing this now. So one of the approaches for competitive analysis that can be effective is to actually use like a table format where you show all the features that you provide, and then you list your competitors and where they're failing relative to you. Okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy.
Thanks, Yishel. Can you escape and actually can we view the slide deck in the tile format so we can maybe walk through things a little bit more quickly here?
Yeah.
So again, echoing the comment of just it's or yeah, even can you do what's the view where we can see almost all 30 or 20 slides all together?
Oh, grid view maybe?
Grid view, yeah. Perfect. So again, I think common theme of a lot of information, a lot for us to absorb. Much of this can be put into appendices. I'm also generally a big fan of fewer words on the slides, because you caught me I'm reading and then I wasn't listening to you. So I probably didn't listen to about 30% of the words you said because I was trying to read what was on the slides and take notes, but it was some of that. I think the first initial hook is good. So the first two slides are good. I think the market size is actually not that important here because it is a big market. You don't have to convince anyone that this is a big problem. You can almost say hey, either your kid, your grandkid, or your friend's kid, or your friend's grandkid, between there's someone in a very close proximity that is going through these challenges. So tell me about that person. Make your audience feel about that, right? Any health tech company, you got to pull at the heartstrings a little bit. You got to make the pain feel real. It's got to be kind of personal to them. And so present it in more of a story format and show them the current system, right? So this is it that slide 7 is really strong because it looks messy. It looks antiquated. It looks like a solution that people don't want to use. And then kind of hit with slide 9 and yeah, like slide 7, 8, 9, I think were really powerful altogether as a combination. And then I think to Mathieu's point, the impact slide 11, like that was all really good information. Like I wanted to hear every bit of that, of like what you've actually done, right? Because a lot of times hardware, health tech companies, like it's all about the idea and then they have no substance to back it. Like I've heard so many pitches where it's like, look at this big problem, and it was probably your version of your story in 2019 when you were pitching, when you had no results yet, but now you have the results. So like, show me this stuff. I almost want to slide on every single one of those. Tell me a story of one of this, like this adorable kid with this headset. Like, tell me about him and how you've helped him. And not just him, you've helped his parents, you've helped his teachers, you've helped everyone involved in helping this kid, become a better human, a better person, a better functioning member of society, right? Like lean into that story so much. And like you talk about your hardware, I like the kind of like that's cool, but that could almost be an appendix of like, this is what our versions look like. I almost want it just one slide as a timeline, right? And show me like we started with this really crude version, and then we finally got our first trials, and then we had first results, and then now it's time for more kind of clinical approach here. And what you can almost split it as, because you've got that slide a little bit later, it's like one slide timeline, like this is what we've accomplished, and then the next slide, this is what we're going to work on moving forward. And like you've got all of those bits of information, but I think it just needs to be fleshed out in a much more linear way. Next feedback, sorry, because of just my notes are all in chronological order here. I can scroll up a bit more, go back a few. Yeah, so on the team, value proposition. You've got 6 things there. So I want to hear about those 6 things, or at least maybe 3 or 4 of them in the problem solution that you're talking about, right? Who are you actually solving the problem? Are you solving it for the kids, or are you solving it for the physicians? I think that split that Kathy mentioned, that's very tricky to see, and it was really not clear of who you're solving the problem for more. On the team slide, too many people. That's a lot of people. I'm seeing 5 employees and 7 advisors. And I'm going to say, I know Brian and Dane personally, actually know Sergio as well. But if Brian and Dane are not invested in the company, I would actually remove them from the advisory board, because it's actually a negative signal, in my opinion, if someone has the capital to be investing, but then is advising a company and they have not invested, right?
Okay.
Right, because I could text Brian right now and say like, hey, have you invested in Dot? And if he says no, then I'm asking why not? If you know her and you have the capital and you like her enough to be on the advisory board, what's wrong with this company? So I find that always just a negative. And again, the other physicians and experts and things like that, they're possibly not angel investors or that type of person. So that's great to have them there, and adds kind of that kind of credibility. And Sergio, I presume that was through Founder Institute that he's kind of helping out there. Sorry, how much time do we have? Can I 2 more minutes here? Yeah. Yeah, and then so the next few, like slide 19 through 21, that can all be appendix. Even the awards and things like that, actually, that's all extra stuff that if I really want to know about this, like if I have a question about regulatory framework, boom, you've got it ready to go. Pricing strategy, that comes in about that was also confusing of both where it was in the deck and what it has to do with, like, are you going to physicians, are you going to the patients, right? That was a little unclear. Financial projections, like if you're just going to draw it like a hockey stick like that, you got it. Like, I'd rather you just write the numbers out and show me, because this just looks like you made up a number that looks okay. Let's make it an exponential curve. Competitive analysis, even just visually, like don't make it a black background with those white boxes. That's just a visual thing. I really did like 27, where you do have a clear breakdown and you have a clear, like, this is where our pre-seed raise is going to take us through the LMR. And then you need to say the other part of like, we aren't going to be making enough money, but that LMR will provide us with enough data to go raise a proper seed round of $3 million and then take us through, to the next phase. So you've got to kind of do the extra step of like, we know that if you can get through an LMR with this kind of data, with this kind of credibility, and this thing will help us line up more customers, then we can raise more money. And that was it for my comments. Sorry, that was a lot of information all at once.
Oh, thank you so much. I was taking
You're
notes.
recording though, Jane, right? Yes, yeah.
It's all recorded. So.
Okay.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Nolan. And Mathieu and Kathy, thank you all for your feedback. Okay, we're going to move right along. And if you can...
Yes, I'll just stop sharing.
Share.